George, tell me about what you see out our window.
Well, there's a beautiful lake here. The park is called MacArthur Park.
You probably remember when it was Westlake, right?
Westlake Park, yes. It used to be Westlake Park. And there was a boathouse over there, lots of ducks. In fact, we contributed 2 ducks because on Easter, my uncle brought us 2 fuzzy yellow ducklings. Cutest thing. But they grew up and they became hungry, noisy, filthy, and neighborhood nuisance. And so we contributed. But that skyline is totally new. We had a height limit in Los Angeles where buildings couldn't go over a certain limit. And City Hall was the only one that was allowed to go to 27 stories. And it's still a beautiful, great Art Deco landmark.
So all these buildings are from like the 60s, 70s?
60s and 70s on. And the very first one to go up was the Union Bank building. It's that white building, shorter than some of the other ones that protruded. And that was the first one. I remember my father driving up Harbor Freeway saying, why would anyone want to build like that? Make Los Angeles like New York. But now there is a skyline that resembles New York. And the first to really become an elegant statement on that skyline is what we call Library Tower, because that's right next to the City Library, which is an architectural treasure in itself. Don Bradley said, downtown is going to become the unquestionable business and political art of Los Angeles. The developer hired I.M. Pei, the leading architect of that time, Chinese-American, to build that. And with the little crown on top. And there's a restaurant up there, which is wonderful, with a great view.
Do you remember when the Westlake Theater was a theater?
Westlake Theater. I used to come there to see movies, yeah. This whole area, I wasn't around then, but my father told me that this was a glamorous area and there were apartment houses there that movie stars and producers and directors lived in. This used to be a lot of movie location sites. I can claim to have been born in East LA, but my parents were living there on 7th Street. And but they had a friend who was a midwife. And when my mother was ready to give birth with me, my father drove her over to Boyle Avenue, and I was born there. So I can what's his name? Born in
like
the USA.
Oh.
I was born in East LA.
You lived in East LA for a while, too, as a kid, right?
As a kid before the war. We lived there, and then my parents bought a home on Granite Street in East LA. And that's when the internment came. And it was from that house on Garnet Street that we were forced out at gunpoint.
You grew up speaking Japanese and English, but also Spanish, right?
Well, because after the war, we lived in East LA. And sí, yo puedo hablar español. Me gusta la lengua mucho. ¿Usted también? ¿Cómo puede usted? ¿Usted me entiende?
Pero es muy malo.
¿Qué?
Es muy malo.
Oh, malo.
Yeah, I'm terrible.
No entiendo su español. Yes, this area has a lot of history, and I played a little part in it. And it's grown into a great city with a great downtown skyline.